Redeemer, precious Redeemer, seems now I see him on Calvary's tree, wounded and bleeding, for sinners pleading, blinded, unheeding, dying for me. Dying for me. Dying for me.
Man, it's been almost 3 years since I came in here the first time. A little longer than 3 years ago. And man, I tell you, when I came in here, I was broken. I was a broken man without hope, full of shame, full of guilt. And I did all that to myself. I really don't want to get ahead of myself. I just want to go way back and tell y'all my story and about what God's done in my life. And I come from a broken home. My mom and my dad were divorced. Two totally different types of people. My mom's back there now. She's very loving, caring, supportive. I can't think of anything she wouldn't do to me except something that's going to hurt me. My dad, on the other hand, he was on the other side of the train tracks. He loved to drink, party. He did lots of drugs, and you know, there was a time in my life where I had a chance to go one way or the other way. My mom's always doing stuff to help me, which isn't so fun sometimes, and my dad was always doing whatever he wanted to, and it was always fun. So you can kind of see which way I went to. And man, that led me down a deep, dark road. Me and my dad, I thought my dad was my best friend, and he was, you know, but we was getting high together, drinking together, working together, all the time, doing something that wasn't quite so right together. That started when I was about 15 years old. I was partying with my dad, and in that moment, like, it wasn't just the drugs, you know, it was life. I learned how to lie. I learned how to manipulate. There was other things, sex, porn. There's all kinds of addictions out there that'll just grab you up and won't let go of you until you just hit that moment where you have to ask God for help. I carried on this lifestyle for a long time, almost 20 years. I did it, man. I got caught up in this little, what I thought was my friends, what we called our little gang, you know. Looking back on it, wasn't nothing but a bunch of thieves, robbing, stealing, hurting anybody that got in their way. Anything that got in their way to get what they wanted, they was going to get rid of it. And it went on for a long time. I ended up getting married. I had a son. I had a daughter. The marriage didn't work out. Me and her was not doing everything right together. We wasn't coming before the Lord asking for help. And, you know, it just got destroyed in the midst of what I thought I was doing right. But I wasn't, man, because God wasn't there. All this time, I'm working, man. I'm not doing this, doing that. But, you know, God ain't there. It's not right. If he ain't in the middle of it, he ain't there. You know, and I can honestly vouch for that because my life has been absolutely transformed. I was touched by God's grace. About 4 years ago, my drug of choice was meth. And I got involved with these guys and I learned how to make it. And it ruined my life. I had a whole thing wrote down like that I was going to come up here and do, but I just wanted to tell y'all what God's done for my life, you know. Once I was introduced to meth, I thought I knew what rock bottom was. I just absolutely thought I knew what rock bottom was. But I hadn't seen it yet. I had burnt every single bridge that I possibly could, most of the time on purpose, because I didn't want to look back. I thought that was the only road I knew, was getting high and trying to die. I thought every time I would hope and pray that the next one would be the last one, because I didn't want to put up with what I thought I had to live with for the rest of my life. I had, about 3 years ago, I was in a truck that wasn't mine. You know, y'all know how I got that. But I had run until I just couldn't go no further. I had run the truck, slam out of gas. I didn't even know where I was at because I'd just been driving all night long. I was trying to get away from these people that were looking for me. I knew if I didn't get away from them, it was going to be the end of it anyway, because I'd done some horrible things to them and their stuff. That was just the life I was involved in, man. I had done all my drugs. I was coming down. The sun was starting to come up, and I knew I couldn't come back to Asheboro because everybody I ran with was looking for me. Not in a good way. They didn't want to help me. And I'd been riding all night long. The truck started to run out of gas. So I pulled down in behind this building. I'm sitting there, man. I can honestly say that's probably the first time I ever cried out to God for help. Sometimes it's hard looking back on it because you see how far you've come. But I was sitting in that truck, man. I was crying my eyeballs out, begging God to stop me from doing what I was about to do. I was going to take my life that night. I didn't even know that I was in a church. I didn't even know what the building was where I was at. I just coasted in behind the darkest hole I could find. I was just going to do it and be done with it. I was sitting there. I had everything in my lap. There's a saying, after that, I had a saying. I was too scared to pull the trigger, but just stupid enough to push the plunger. I had a whole bunch of stuff, man, fixed up, and I was going to go on out of here. I was just going to go on out of here. I'm sitting there begging God, man. I'm remembering it right now, and I can feel that pain I had that day. And I hear something, and the first thing in my mind was like, man, they got me. They found me. It's either them or the police, one of the two. And I remember, man, I had this, you know how you feel when you get flushed, like all your color just leaves you. I was like, man, this is it, you know. I turned around and looked out the window, and I seen a guy in a suit. A little bit of that fluster went away then, because it was all right. And I jumped out of the truck. I said, hey, man, I don't want no problems. I said, I just ran out of gas, and I was just waiting for the sun to come up. And he looks down in the truck, and he sees all the stuff I had there. And he said, well, son, I don't know about you, but it looks like you got a problem, a bigger problem than you can handle on your own. And I know I looked rough, man. I'd been running for about a month straight. Hadn't been home. We're looking ragged. And when I finally got the courage to look at that man in the eyes, I said, man, I need some help. And he said, I know. Come with me. And it carried me into church. I'll never forget. The name of the church was called New Life Ministries. It was in Reedsville, North Carolina. He carried me in there. He said, I know you don't want to be around everybody. He carried me in this back office, gave me some breakfast. He said, you can sit here. He said, the message will come through the speaker. You can hear it. He said, get you something to eat and just rest for a minute, son. I was like, all right. I sit there. After church, his wife comes in there. I'll never forget it. Tanja. She came last time when Teen Challenge came. They came to see us. His wife came in there. She said, son, you need some help. She said, let me help you. I'll never forget that, man. She said, let me help you. She said, just surrender. She said, just give up. God will take control. And I did that day. I said, all right. I don't want to make any decisions. I said, I need some help. And we rode around all day that day trying to find a detox center to go to. And they ended up having to take me from Reedsville to, I think it was in Durham where I went, to this 3-day detox. And after the 3 days, the nurse, she was like, well, you're done. And I was like, done? I ain't even come down yet. What are you talking about? I was like, man, that's it? That's all y'all got for me? I said, I'm ready to go again now, you know. And look, just as soon as I was getting ready to walk out the door, Tanja calls the detox center. She said, where's Alan? And she was like, well, we're discharging him or whatever. And she said, put him on the phone. Put him on the phone. They bought me a bus ticket to go to Greensboro to this other center. It was a place called Delancey Street. I'll never forget it. I get there, you know, and at that moment, all I wanted was just to be clean, man. All I wanted was to not go get that drug. All I wanted was for my mom not to be hurting at night, not to wonder if I'm alive, you know. And it was hard. And I thought I finally found some peace when I got there because I'm around a bunch of other people that wanted to stay clean. I'm around people that was trying to do the right thing. But at this place, it was like a work camp. It was just something the state had to just keep people off the street and they could make some money. I stayed there 9 months, working day and night. And finally, one day, I was like, man, you know what? I've had enough of this. I know there's something else out there. At that church that night, I met God face to face, man, because he touched me with his grace. Because I know I wasn't supposed to be there that day, you know? I wasn't supposed to be there that day. And I just looked at the guy that ran the house. I said, man, I think I'm done here. And he was like, well, all right, whatever. Just go. So I took off walking from Greensboro to Franklinville, or to Ramsville, where my mom lives. Took me about a day and a half to get there. Walking all night long. And I didn't know Mom and them had been looking for me. And Cecil and Sheila and Lena, they'd already been talking about Teen Challenge. I had no idea that all that stuff was already in the works. I get to Mom's house. She said, I got somebody I want you to meet Sunday. And I was like, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes. And be careful how you say that, because sometimes it takes more than what you're willing to do. But you just got to be ready for it. I come to church. I meet Cecil and Sheila. We went back here and talked in this room. They prayed for me. We went home, and I told Mom, I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it 12 months. Because I'd already committed to that other program, and it was 2 years. I said, what's 12 more? You know what I mean? What's 12 more months? It was hard getting in there too, man. I'll tell you what, if the devil wants to stop something, he's going to stop you. Because I had to jump through all kind of loopholes and stuff just to get in Teen Challenge. And I'll tell you what, it was the greatest thing I've ever done in my life. Not only did I develop a relationship with God, I learned how to pray. I learned how to read. I learned basic stuff that everyday people take for granted. I learned how to wake up every day, go to work. I learned how to keep my clothes clean. I learned how to keep just straight everything. I learned how to interact with people on a social level other than stealing from them while they're asleep. You know what I'm saying? I learned all kinds of things that I will never, ever forget. I stayed there for a year. I graduated the program. And then I ended up staying for another year working there. And that was one of the other greatest things I've ever done. Working for Sal DiBianca that was tough, man. That was tough. But that man, he taught me a lot. How to maintain, just stay steadfast. What do you always say? Just steadfast, man. Don't give up. Don't look back. Keep looking forward. Don't give up. Don't look back. He says sometimes you'll get stuck in that rearview mirror and won't know which way you're going. And I left Teen Challenge about, how long has it been, Mom? 4 months ago. There was a guy come through the program, and his dad and mom run the Asheboro Recycling Center. And he's like, man, you work hard, because Sal would have me run around everywhere. He said, man, you should try to go down there and work at my mom's place. And I was like, I don't know. Anyway, he leaves the program, and still in the back of my mind, you know. But it was a God thing, because, you know, I always heard, you know, if it's from God, it's going to be there regardless. You know, so I just waited. Like 6 months goes by, and I see this thing on Facebook for Asheboro Recycling, and I somehow or another I accidentally hit it. Boom. It said, your application's been submitted. And I was like, oh no. I didn't even know what I was doing. It just said, your application's been submitted. And it wasn't 30 seconds. His mom said, we've been waiting on this for months now. I was like, waiting on what? She was like, for you to come work for us. And I was like, hold on a minute. I was like, I got to think about this one. So they gave me like 2 months. And then still, they let me in there. And it's been cool, man. Like, I really love working there. I love meeting the people. I get to interact with people every day. Like, since I've been there, I've sent like 4 or 5 people to Teen Challenge that had problems. I've been giving out their phone numbers every day. Pray with them, man. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, man. And anything good is going to be hard. It's going to be hard. I thought it was hard being there at Teen Challenge. Nah, that was just training day for the real thing. When I left and started working, I didn't realize I'd been there for 2 years. Well, actually, counting the program before that, almost 3 years. I didn't realize how fast the world was. Before I got there, I had everything helping me stay just as fast as the world was. And I didn't realize all God wants you to do is just slow down. Just slow down, man. Just breathe. And this past couple of weeks has been really, really trying and tempting for me. I'd been saving my money and stuff while I was working there at Teen Challenge. And I got me an apartment. I bought me a brand new scooter. I thought I was doing some big things, man. I had me a new scooter. I got me an apartment. A week after I got the apartment, man, it caught on fire. This is just 2 weeks ago. My apartment caught on fire. And the lady that lived up under us had an electrical fire in her apartment. And, man, at that moment, I felt like everything I did for the past 3 years just been snatched away from me. I'm sitting there thinking, God, man, what's going on here? But let me back up just a little bit. I had the money to get an apartment, right? And because of my past, I got bad credit. I got a criminal history. You know what I'm saying? I got this and I got everything you could think of in this world I got working against me, except God. And I was, sometimes you forget to just look up. I'm running around to all these real estate companies, every real estate company in Asheboro. You got to pay $60 to fill out an application to get denied. Man, I was starting to get so mad. I spent like $200 or $300 just in rental applications to try to get a house, apartment, trailer, something. And I was just this close to giving up. And just by chance, man, I ran into a guy and he was like, yeah, I got a place for you. Come on. All right. So I move in. Catches on fire a week later. Like, geez, what's going on, man? And apartment caught on fire, moved to the motel. Like, man, I'm really feeling like what's going on? Like, what am I even doing this for? So I'm at work one day thinking, a lot of sleepless nights, restless, and I'm like, God, man, I need some help. I really need some help. And I tell you, if you ask for help, if you ask God for something and it lines up with His will, it's going to fall right into place. I struggled so hard to get that apartment, man. The first one. I tried, man. I did not get high, man. I prayed every day. Every day I prayed. Sometimes I was probably sounding more like I was hollering at God, but that's okay too. He'll hear that. But I'm at work, and this guy comes in there, and I'm unloading his truck, and he sees some paint on my shirt, and he says, hey, man, you a painter? I said, no. He said, well, I need some work done. I didn't know this guy from Adam. And I was like, all right, what you need? I'm always looking for a little extra work. He said, I need some painting done. This guy just moved out of my duplex. He said, his dog tore it up, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I said, well, I'm your guy, man. I said, I'll paint it, I'll clean it, I'll mow the grass, I'll do whatever you want me to do. He said, oh, that's cool, man. He said, just come on down here to Benjamin James and fill out this application. I looked down, I said, no. I said, I ain't going to waste your time or my time. He said, why is that? I said, I already gave y'all $60 to deny me one time. I ain't going to do it again. I said, y'all ain't going to hustle an honest man twice. And he says, he goes to his truck, he comes back, and he hands me this application. He said, all I want you to do, he said, write your first name down and put your phone number up on it. He said, take it to the office, and you tell that lady to call me. I was like, all right, sounds simple enough. I go do it. I just slide the thing under the window. She's looking at me like I'm plumb crazy because it's like a 4-page application. I just got Allen 953. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and she's just looking down, looking at me, and I'm like, hey, your boss told me to call you. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, all right. She gets on the phone. She's like, hello? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. She hangs the phone up. She says, when can you have your deposit here? I said, just asking. I asked her, I said, who was that? She said, oh, that was Benjamin James. And I was like, oh, wow. I didn't know that because he never told me his name or nothing. And he was like, the whole time, man, after he gave me that, I'm just using this as an illustration, things fell right in the spot. I couldn't get the money there on time. He said, don't worry about it. He said, I'll get you your key. I said, I can't get my utilities cut on right now. I said, I done tied all my money up in this other apartment. He said, don't worry about it. He said, I'll put everything in my name until you get a chance to do it. Like right now, the lights, the gas, the water, and everything's in their name until I get my money built back up to do it. I've met a beautiful girl, Gina. She's been in and out of my life for a long time. And we pray together, we read together. Anybody, man, if I can't stress this hard enough, man, if you can't, you got to pray. They say the ones that pray together stay together. You got to read and pray. You got to read and pray. You got to rely on God. You can't rely on your own strength. You can't lose hope. You can't lose your faith. Because I remember that day when that preacher knocked on that door. I had no hope that day. And I just thought not getting an apartment was bad. And I forget about the day I wanted to take my life. You know, we're so easy to quit, to forget about the good things, the good times, the hard times. It's all about now. That's what it seems like the world today just wants you focused on right this minute. And we can't focus on now because we gotta put our sights on eternity and the things that matter. You know, if we're so focused on what's going on right here, right now, we're going to forget about everything. And just when you get clean, get sobered up, get looking good, that don't mean it's going to get easy, man. I was reading this morning about the blind man at the gate. You know, he was born blind. All his life is blind. His mom and dad, took him to the gate, dropped him off so he could panhandle for money all day. That's good and fine. And one day Jesus and his disciples come walking up and they was like, Jesus, this guy's blind. We come by here every day. Can't you heal him? He said, yeah. He walks over there, spits in the mud, rubs it on his eyes. He can heal. He's healed. He goes home. Mama, man, you ain't going to believe this. Some dude just walked by today, spit in the mud. I can see. No, we don't believe you. You know what I'm saying? Nah, go on somewhere else. Then the Pharisees, they see it. Man, they looking at him like he's lost his mind. What do you mean? It's blasphemy, It's like, and then the Pharisees go talk to the guy's mom and his own mom and dad. Known him his whole life. Who healed your son? We don't know. We don't know. Go ask him yourself. He's of age. That's what they tell him. Go ask him yourself. And they just look at him like they just won't believe. When people see a good thing, they just don't want to believe it. I was that blind man one day, at one time. And the part I liked the most, I was trying to remember it all, but I ain't quite good as Jeff. But anyway, he replied, whether he's a sinner or not, I don't know. One thing I do know, I was blind, but now I see. He said, I was blind, but now I see. The part we forget about, sometimes we can see perfect 20/20 vision, man, but that spiritual side, you can be blind as a bat, man. You can't even see what's going on around you. And, sometimes you got to encourage yourself in the Lord, just like David did. And it gets harder and harder. the further along you go. I'm not even going to lie about that. But I do know it's going to get better because I count it all joy, like Paul said. I got to keep pushing through, man. I just got to keep pushing through like a horse with blinders on. You just got to stay focused and not forget where you come from. You can't forget who brought you here today. You know, James, Travis, man, Jeff, I know the whole church has prayed for me. Sheila, Cecil, like, I got every bulletin every week for 2 years there. When I left, I got a stack of bulletins like that. She mailed me one every week. And they'd be like, look at that man right there, Justin Creason. What's going on, buddy? But, man, it might not have seemed like much, the little bulletin here and there, but, you know, every Tuesday when they hand out the mail, you know, like, there they are. I know they're thinking about me. You can ask Justin, man. He'll be like, who get you? Yes, Oakley Baptist, man. You count on it. Man. And I thank y'all, and I love y'all guys, man. I do. I love y'all because you just don't know what you did. You pulled a man right out of the pits of hell. You know what I'm saying? You gave him a little bit of hope. You gave him a little bit of joy. You gave him something to look forward to. And if I can't do nothing else, I can just sit here and tell you, man, I love you guys. I do. I love you with my whole heart, man, because the things you guys did for me will never, ever be forgotten. And, you know, I know that the things y'all did for me has touched other people in ways that can never, I can't explain it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really agree with everything NA and AA's got to say, but one saying they do have, when one addict helps another addict, it's unparalleled. You can't even compare to what one person can do for another person when it helps them, bring them out of that fog, out of that dump, you know. And I just want y'all to know that everything you did was not for nothing, because it's got me here today. You showed me what God's grace was all about. You showed me how Christians are supposed to act. You showed me how we're supposed to treat each other. You're supposed to show love. You're supposed to give a kind hand, an open heart, you know what I'm saying, a kind word. It's all about the next man. What can I do to help you? You know, sometimes you just got to set yourself aside and help the next man. And in return, you know, it's all going to come back. It always comes back. Everything's a full circle when you're working for the Lord, man. Nothing ever goes void. It never goes void. If you're doing a good deed, you're going to get tenfold back, man. It might not be what they say, God will give you what you want, but it might not be in the box you need. It might come wrapped up something like something else, but it's good. Man, that went way too quick. That's all I got. I just wanted to say, man, thank you very much for everything you did. And it'll never, ever be forgotten. You know, I live in Asheboro. It's hard for me to get here every Sunday. I'm working all the time, and it ain't because I don't want to be here. It's just, you know, life's fast. Life's fast, man. And you just got to hang on and stay in prayer, man. Don't never get out of your word, man. If you can't do nothing, just read a couple verses every day. And it'll help you. It always helps me. It always helps me. I can rely on Jeff, man. I call over the whole time I was in Teen Challenge. I'd call, man, struggling Jeff, help me, man. Give me a good word, Jeff. But anyway, man, thank you guys, man. I hope you got something out of that. I love you. Thank you.